We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite right now, the one of the shows that's leading in to All In. Fyter Fest edition on TBS from the Gas South Arena in Duluth, Georgia. I didn't realize that Duluth was so close to Atlanta. I thought it was actually out a little bit more. But no, in the suburbs of Atlanta, makes more sense renting places like this that are a little bit smaller as opposed to the big buildings like running Rupp Arena and filling up about an eighth of it or whatever it was. Good move here with the smaller buildings. We did get a graphic for Terry Funk to open the program. Then it was time to light the fuse and break the rules. And we did that to the Strains of Kansas. The Elite, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega faced the Guns and Juice Robinson. The fight started on the ramp, and everybody was all over the place. About 30 seconds in, Juice was going to use a chair on Nick, but Rick Knox took it away. Juice then punched Knox in the face. The Bucks super kicked Juice. The Guns laid out the Bucks. Jay White got in the ring and started beating people up. None of this is a DQ because, well, the match hasn't officially started yet. And then a little bit later on into the brawl, Excalibur just said, hey, the match has been thrown out and ruled a no contest. So after that, Kenny Omega went after Jay White, but Konosuke Takeshita hit the ring and cut him off. So little comeuppance for Jay White when it comes to dealing with Omega. That's, I'm sure, something that is going to continue to play itself out here over the next couple of months in AEW. I know he's not allowed to go back anymore without the expressed written consent of David Finlay, but I would be shocked if we did not get some sort of Jay White appearance coming up in Tokyo for the Tokyo Dome or the Dash or something like that, but I digress. FTR's music hit. They came out. Everyone brawled to the back with the exception of Takeshita and Omega in the ring. Omega went for the one-winged angel, but Takeshita broke free and got away. So a very frantic way to open up the show, Tom. It was, a solid 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever it was, of just this carnage to break open the show.
Yeah, if you're not going to deliver on a promised match like the Bullet Club Gold versus the Elite, this is the way to not deliver because we got a ton of action. Everybody got involved. People who were not advertised to be in this match or segment got involved. Everybody got huge pops, got over big. And I'd like to just add a small correction, Mike. It's actually Eddie Kingston that would be the one to have to agree for Jay White to go back to New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Thank you. See, you are the details guy of this show.
I work for that company, so that's also part
you know
of
what?
deal.
I don't know. You have not officially worked for that company until you have a sit-down with Renee Paquette, and Renee Paquette was all over this show, and I'm going to take the two interviews right now, Tom, and just combine them. She had the first one with MJF. They had one later on with Adam Cole. Video was played for both men. And look, it was very well done in that it was very sporting in that she asked questions about how it feel going into the match and everything that's happened, but made sure to point out that they have had cracks and issues between the two as they've become a team. And MJF, during his, reiterated that he's not perfect and he understands why people don't want to back him, but he gets it. He understands that, but he's showing vulnerability now, and he wants the people to be there alongside of him when he's going on this voyage that he thanks Adam Cole for. But when Cole was shown the same type of video with the Kingdom, expressing some question over his friendship practices, and of course Roddy Strong, the issues with him, they showed video of him looking like he could ambush MJF, and unlike MJF, he had a freak out when it came to it and started screaming and saying, why can't two men just be friends and there's no issues between us, and he just stormed off there. So certainly makes you think that they are pushing in the direction of Adam Cole possibly being the one that turns dirty on MJF, although at the end of the show, MJF did take out the Dynamite Diamond ring. But what did you think about those two sit-downs and how they kind of played themselves out?
They certainly were trying to lead the viewer to believe that MJF is the babyface. He was portrayed as the babyface. I can never, in the back of my mind, trust this guy.
Really?
No. So, like, every single time I see something like this, I think it's a setup. You know what I mean? But they certainly want you to think that he is the one who is more into this friendship than Adam Cole is.
Yeah, and that's that is how it's being portrayed. We then got Jon Moxley against Phoenix, and as everybody knows, Phoenix will not be making the trip to All In. So, what was going to happen? What was going to play itself out? You figured they were going to do some sort of angle. They absolutely did. Moxley pretty much controlled the first 3 quarters of this match, ripped open Phoenix's masks. Phoenix started to make a comeback towards the end. Eventually, Moxley used an avalanche Death Rider for a near fall, then wrapped on a choke. Bryce Remsburg called for the bell. Went pretty long time, went 13 and a half minutes. After the match, the BCC hit the ring with a crowbar. Eddie Kingston and Penta then started to come down to the ring, but were cut off by, of all people, Ortiz and his soap sock. And then Santana's music hit, and then from behind Kingston and Penta, out came Santana, who we have not seen in an extremely long time. They lay out Penta and Eddie inside the ring. Phoenix gets beaten upside the head with a crowbar. All of the heels exit out through the crowd when the Best Friends and Doc Samson hit the ring. And the announcers played up the drama of this. They had to be very solemn going into that DraftKings ad. But what did you think about how that angle went down?
I thoroughly enjoyed this match. I thought this match was great. But there was way, way too much going on at the end. The camera missed, I think, almost everything. I saw Ortiz swing the mad ball. I think it hit Eddie. Eddie was down. He hit Penta with it, I think. And at the same time is when Phoenix got hit with the crowbar which I believe they missed. And then the announcers had to put it over big. So if things would have just been paced out a little bit differently and we could have seen everything, or if there was a different camera shot used, I think it would have been more effective, because I had to go back. I had to rewind it. I had to, put my brain back in my head like I was Shibata in order to understand this segment. I'm sure the match is going to be great. The match leading into it was awesome, but it was just too much afterwards.
Yeah, and to me, I mean, use the crane cam, pull back, and actually just show everything going on. Just make sure that the guys are active as they're waiting, for particular things to play out there. But after it was over, we went to break. As we came back from break, they're putting Phoenix into an ambulance. Eddie refuses to talk to Renee. We then got more Renee because she was talking to Sammy Guevara, and she asked why he went to Chris Jericho's defense last week, but before he could answer, 2.0 and Daniel Garcia came out. Sammy gave an impassioned defense of friendship, and Garcia just stared him down before leaving. I still think all these guys are going to end up back together to fight with the United Empire and such. I cannot wait until Daniel Garcia does his dance in front of Jeff Cobb's face, or maybe the Okan's face. That would actually be probably more entertaining. But that whole thing led to the contract signing between Jericho and Will Ospreay. And I got to be honest, I thought this came off really good. I mean, I thought Ospreay coming out with Don Callis, it reminded me of like a meathead heavyweight fighter coming out with Don King in the 80s and like being impassioned at the press conference. And look, the reason that Callis said, that he was going to turn on Jericho was because he had already promised Will Ospreay to get him in his fold, hit Jericho's head on a platter at Wembley, and he's gone and did that. And they went back and forth. Ospreay said bruv a lot of times, but eventually they signed the contract. They got in each other's face, but were broken up before anybody could do any damage there. I thought that was pretty effective.
I thought so too. I thought Will Ospreay was great here. I thought his body language when he came out the whole time, hands in the pockets, disinterested. It's like he's certainly on board with Callis, but it's totally for himself. And you can tell by the way that he's reacting. I don't for 1 second buy that this match has any bearing on his stepson's future education.
Well,
I think I think the stepson's gonna probably go to school regardless, Will. So you don't need to throw that in there. I don't think it garnered you any
the
sympathy.
The truest thing he said was bringing up the fact that he's going to be a free agent at the end of this New Japan deal. Hey, look, a lot of people think hey, you get that one more third time in Tokyo, but it's a fait accompli. Would that be the right term to use? That at some point Will Ospreay is going to be an AEW signed wrestler, the same way that people believed that Nick Wayne would be, and that's exactly what he became. Darby Allin and Nick Wayne against AR Fox. Swerve Strickland, just to speed towards the close here because I don't want to run out of time. Nick Wayne, Darby Allin get the victory. Swerve tried to put down Nick Wayne, could not do it. AR Fox tried to put down Nick Wayne, could not do it. That kid takes a hell of an ass whipping. He will do so for quite some time because he's just so great at taking it. You believe the look on his face. I tell you, great young babyface Nick Wayne, and Swerve and AR Fox, they were the perfect people to kind of bounce up against, but they end up turning on AR Fox at the end with Swerve being upset that Fox couldn't put him down. And then out comes Darby with Sting and Nick Wayne. They make the save for AR Fox. Darby extends his hand to him. They're friends again. Darby then asks, who is going to be your partner now coming up here at All In? And out come Christian and Luchasaurus. And then we finally got it. What we all knew was going to happen. Christian extended some words to Nick Wayne about his father not being there and said it would be terrible if he was in London because it would be sad to see a coffin door be shut on somebody he loves for a second time in his young life. Unbelievable, Christian. He is just ridiculous. More Renee with FTR and the Young Bucks. We then got Ruby Soho in Sky Blue. I have a feeling the Outcasts will be going stage left at some point here relatively soon. So Ruby Soho looks like they're angling her in for a title shot that may be coming up down the line. Then we got the Acclaimed. Billy Gunn is back. He'll be joining up with the Acclaimed to face the House of Black for All In. And then we got the main event with the Aussie Open against the Hardy Boys, which we will get to after the break. Wrestling Observer Live. Back on the show, Mike Sempervive, Filthy Tom Lawlor here with you, Wrestling Observer Live. Almost made it to the end of the show. Almost made it to the end of that segment and got in the entire AEW Dynamite review, but did not. Aussie Open and the Hardy Boys for the ROH World Tag Team Championship was the main event. I don't think anybody out there thought the Hardys were going to get the victory. We just knew that this would at some point bring MJF and Adam Cole down to the ring. Mark Davis got the pin on Jeff. It is not easy to get the Hardys to a point where they were at in fact, it's impossible to get them to where they were in 1997 because time moves on, and maybe time should move on. In my opinion, maybe without the Hardys, maybe they can be on ROH TV and just help new teams something. I don't know, but I don't want to see them in any more main events. But it did what it had to do, which was bring out MJF and Cole, and they teased dissension at the end. What did you think about the finish? And what do you think about Aussie Open just as a really, really good tag team and as somebody that could really be a threat there?
I'm big fan of Aussie Open, having watched them, pretty closely over the past few years on New Japan Strong and New Japan Strong shows. I think they are, top 5 tag teams in the world easily. That is a low ranking from me, really. And I think they're going to show everybody that at All In.
Hey guys, did you love this clip? If so, you should join our channel. Just hit the join button, and you'll have full access to every single show that we do. Wrestling Observer Live, Wrestling Observer Radio, The Brian and Vinny Show, all of them in full HD, full length, plus archives of all of your favorite shows. Click join today and don't miss out.